Namo Amitabha Buddha. Hello everyone. So a few comments about Pure Land Buddhist vegetarians. So it depends on what lineage and branch of Buddhism you practice and where you are on your journey. So I practice Chinese Pure Land Buddhism and I'll speak more from these perspectives. So if you are completely new into Buddhism, you are new on this path, there is really no requirement whatsoever, regardless of your diet, your race, your cultural backgrounds, what other religions you might practice. So there is really no requirement. Anyone can practice Buddhism. Buddhism is really the path of awakening that helps us to awaken our Buddha nature that lies within all of us. So at the beginning of the path, there is really no requirement. Also at the beginning, the Buddha did not impose vegetarianism. It's also really out of compassion. It's not because the Buddha didn't know that it was not good to slaughter the animals, but it was also out of compassion. So imagine if the Buddha said, okay, for anyone who want to practice Buddhism, one cannot eat meat, then a lot of people would not be able to do that, and Buddha knew. So that is why the Buddha did not impose vegetarianism at the beginning. It's also to help more people to come onto the path of Dharma, to come onto the path of awakening. Slowly, through practicing the Dharma, then one might develop more compassion and more empathy towards other sentient beings, towards the animals. And also at the time of the Buddha and the Sangha, they had to go out and to beg for food. They received alms. It will also not be so compassionate if they request others to cook vegetarian food specifically for them. So they will just eat whatever food they might receive. So this is also compassion and also helps the practitioners to get rid of their separation. But when they were invited to the palace or other places, they will always request vegetarian food to be prepared, because the minimal requirements is that one shall not consume meat. If one might have heard, suspected, or saw the animals were actually killed specifically for you, then you should not consume it, as this could create negative karma on you. Karma is really fair. If we harm other beings, then other beings will also harm us. Maybe not in this life, but next lives. What is the most precious in our life? It's really our life, right? We don't want to be killed by others. And similarly, other sentient beings, they also think the same. So if we don't want to be hurt by others, then we shall also not hurt others. Through us keep walking deeper on the path of awakening, we can develop more compassion and empathy towards other sentient beings. And we can really see that how all sentient beings are the same. We are equal in terms of our Buddha nature, all has the same Buddha nature. That they might come into the point that it will be natural for us to want to adopt a plant-based diet, not to create any harm for other animals. So that is why in Chinese Mahayana Buddhism, a large number of lay Buddhists and also monks and nuns are all vegetarians. They all adopt a Buddhist vegetarian diet, particularly all the monks and nuns. This is very strict in all the temples and monasteries in China. They all adopt strict vegetarian diet. So this was actually imposed by Emperor Liang Wudi, the famous Bodhisattva emperor in China, who was a devout Buddhist who also took the three refuges and later the Bodhisattva vows, who built many temples, monasteries, who really made great contribution to Chinese Mahayana Buddhism. And it was said when he was reading the sutra in the Mahāparinirvāṇa Sutra, where it says, if one consumes meat, one kills the seed of compassion. So that was where he decided to impose strict Buddhist vegetarianism in China, especially in all the temples and monasteries. And it was received well by all the monks and nuns, and also a large amount of lay Buddhists. So the first precept in Buddhism is about non-killing, non-harming, non-violence, ahimsa. And also the 10 good deeds in Buddhism, not only not to kill, but also we shall try to help and save other sentient beings. So that is why a large amount of Buddhists in China, they are all strict vegetarians and they adopt the Buddhist plant-based diet. So what is a Buddhist plant-based diet? It's slightly different to how we may define vegetarian in the West. So in the Buddhist plant-based diet, one also does not consume eggs because eggs may lead to lives. So we don't consume eggs. And also one does not consume the 5 pungent spices such as onions, garlic, chives, scallions, and leeks. So in the Śūraṅgama Sūtra, the Buddha told us that if we consume the 5 spices raw, then it may give rise to anger. If we consume the 5 spices cooked, then it may give rise to more desire for lust. So that is why this can disturb our state of mind and disturb our meditation, so we don't consume the 5 spices. So in Mahayana Buddhism, it was believed that later the Buddha also imposed vegetarianism, especially for those who are ready, as this was evident in quite a few different Mahayana sutras, such as the Mahāparinirvāṇa Sutra and the Brahmajāla Sutra. In the sutra, the Buddha says all the sentient beings could have been our past life parents, so we shall probably not consume the meat of our past life parents. So yes, if you feel you're ready and you want to give it a try, then I'll definitely highly recommend you to do that. And this may be also a gradual process for a lot of people, and including for myself. So when I just started to walk on the spiritual path, I was not practicing Buddhism then, I was practicing yoga. And I gave up meat immediately. I was never really a big meat eater, so it was not so difficult for me to give up meat. But it was really difficult for me to give up seafood because I grew up in a city that was near the sea and we ate a lot of seafood. So at the beginning, it was quite a struggle to give up seafood, and I came back and forth. But after living 1 year in the temple, it just became really natural. When I think about how all the sentient beings could have been my past life parents, and it just stopped me from having the thought of consuming other animals. So this could be a gradual process, and you can give it a go. So you can maybe start a plant-based diet for a few days a week, or even 1 meal every day, and this will also make a difference. And as slowly you adapt to the new routine, then you can add on in more. And also there are really a lot of benefits associated with plant-based diet. So I highly recommend you to read the book about the China study, which is the most comprehensive study on nutrition. It was called the China study because at that time China was quite poor, so a lot of people could not afford meat, and they would consume a lot of whole food and also vegetables. And the study concluded that for those whose diet are based on whole food, vegetables, and also with the minimal amount of processed food are actually the most healthy, and it can help us avoid a lot of chronic diseases and illnesses. Also, by adopting a plant-based diet can also help us be calmer, because when the animals are being killed, they were really terrified and scared, and it's said they will release a lot of toxins in the meat. And when we consume meat, we are also actually consuming maybe the hatred, the anger, the suffering of the animals. So it's really not good also for our spiritual body, for our spiritual growth. I have definitely also noticed great benefits after adopting a plant-based diet. First of all, it helped me to be much more disciplined in my own behaviors, and also to cultivate more compassion to other sentient beings. And I also feel I have much better immunity and also digestive system after adopting a plant-based diet. I got much better skin complexion after giving up meat and also most of the dairy products. Really, it's probably a critical time in this world for more people to switch to plant-based diet due to environmental issues, and also due to maybe the limited food supply resources. Also other issues such as animal abuse, animal rights, and protection. Also a lot of illnesses and diseases and even viruses were caused by animal consumption. It was said that there are more than 150 billions of animals that are being slaughtered on Earth each year. It's just beyond the imagination of our mind. We just cannot possibly imagine the amount of sufferings the animals are facing every day or every second. Just as I speak, many animals have been killed already on this planet. They also don't want to be killed. We know how terrified the animals are when they were facing death, just like most of us. If we can have more people convert to plant-based diets on this planet, then it will really help Mother Earth greatly in many different aspects. We can really make a positive contribution to Mother Earth. And also nowadays, there are really a lot of great substitutes for meat or for seafood even. If some people may still like the taste of the meat, they find it so difficult to give up, then you can try out mock meat, try out the substitutes without the need to harm other lives, other animals. Also, if one doesn't kill animals, one can also obtain good health and longevity in one's life. So it's like the fearless giving that we talk about. So may all beings be happy and free from suffering. Namo Amitabha Buddha. Namo Amituofo.